Living with a Brain Injury 5 Tips for Creating a Better Future. Presented by Darcy Keith, widely recognized as the Queen of Survival and the Miracle Child. As the sole backseat survivor of a devastating car crash in 1991, Darcy triumphed over 2 traumatic brain injuries and right side paralysis. Her journey of resilience and recovery continues to inspire audiences nationwide. Presented on Wednesday, May 28, 2025. Welcome to the 2025 Spring Brainstorm event, part of our quarterly speaker series sponsored by Kessler Foundation. This presentation is made possible through our Traumatic Brain Injury Model System grant, funded by the National Institute on Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research.
Our speaker today is known as the Queen of Survival and the Miracle Child. From injuries she sustained as the only backseat survivor in her fatal car crash while a senior at Ball State University, Darcy Keith had to learn how to live all over again, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Darcy is a national award-winning speaker and has been featured on various radio and television stations around the country, including ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. She has received numerous honors, including being selected as a 2023 Central Indiana Remarkable Woman finalist, awarded as an Indiana hero by the Indiana Pacers, and many others. Darcy has spoken for various corporations, associations, and service organizations, as well as 2 NFL teams, the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts, as part of the NFL's Rookie Success Program. Darcy is one of 8 individuals with lived experience who sits on the Brain Injury Advisory Council for the Brain Injury Association of America. Today, she will be sharing Living with a Brain Injury, 5 Steps for Creating a Better Future. Please help me welcome Darcy Keith.
Thank you, Jeannie. What are some tips who have experienced a brain injury and how can we live our best lives? So again, these work for me and hopefully they will be beneficial to you. So the first tip is repetition, verbal, and visual cues help with memory. So those are the 3 words that fill in those blanks. Repetition, verbal, and visual cues help with memory. So going back to the college degree, each class, repetition, listening to those over and over again, listening to lectures. I have 3 professional designations. Oh, I actually didn't tell you what I do now. So I graduated with a bachelor's degree in insurance. I currently work full-time as a business analyst for Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. You know, the one that has the commercials of Limu, Emu, and Doug. Yes, and the Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Yeah, I work for them. And so I have 3 professional insurance designations, and how I achieve those was, again, I watched the videos of the lectures, the lessons, I guess you might say, repeatedly over and over until it stuck in my brain, which was tiring, but it's also very rewarding. So living my best life, repetition, verbal, and visual cues, they did help with my memory and they did help me achieve what I wanted to do. And it does take effort, and that's where the perseverance, fortitude, and determination play a part. But again, those are the three things that really help me with my memory. So moving to the next one is regular routines and structure are a must. Even the smallest thing sometimes can cause a big meltdown. Sometimes that is for me, like if I get overtired or if my brain gets overwhelmed with sound or noise. Like I remember when I had a leave from the hospital after I was injured, I went to a bowling alley to watch my cousin bowl, and just the loud noise of the ball hitting the pins and the activity, it just caused me to have a meltdown and I had to leave. So there are things, the regular routines and structure do help with that, with helping us live our best lives. So I pretty much do the same routine in the morning. I get up, go to the bathroom, get dressed, so forth, go down, eat breakfast, log onto the computer. I work, half a day, and then I take a lunch. And I'm very fortunate to work at home. So I go in and I watch TV for that hour. But during that time, I also rest. And sometimes I set my watch to make sure that I get back to work on time. But I have to rest in the middle of the day. I can't go all day very well without a functioning like I would like to. So I need that routine. I need that structure of taking a break. When I was worked in the office, I would do that with a conference room after lunch or during lunch. I would go in, I set a timer on my watch or on my phone, and I would just rest my head and just recharge because, as you know, it takes a lot of energy during our day to function. So those are just some of the things that I did with the tips for those of us who experience brain injury. Now, if you can't do something that you used to, try something new. This helped me live my best life because had I not tried a new major in college, I wouldn't have A, achieved my goal, and B, I wouldn't have been doing the job that I'm doing now. So try something new. And like with the physical aspect, as I mentioned, I played volleyball intramurally at Ball State. And I physically can't play. I was on the softball team of the company for which I did the internship, and I can't hit the ball. My motor skills are very decreased. So I tried something new, and what I did was I got sports tickets and I would go and watch the games. And from that, I met several different people, and that those connections allowed me to experience sports like I haven't before. I was a media hostess for the Indianapolis Colts, Indiana Pacers, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the Indianapolis 500, again, many years ago. And I was able to watch firsthand from the press box and I was able to talk with the media folks and hand out their statistics and just chat with them and making sure they had what they needed for their job. And so I got to experience sports in a different way, but I wouldn't have done that. I would not have been able to experience that if I hadn't tried something I tried something new. So you never know when you try something new what will come out of that. So the next tip for those of us to experience our best life is I got a device in which in which I kept notes and appointments. And for a lot of us, that could be your phone, that could be an iPad, that could be, I use a physical like checkbook. I don't use a formula to calculate, my balance on my checking account. I use a physical checkbook. For me, that works because I can see, I can write, I can it sticks in my brain better. And that's what works for me. And other people they may like the digital aspect of a computer, having it, readily. So you just have to find out what works for you. So, keep that device in which you keep notes. It could be ver notes that are audio. You may have your phone and say, "Hey Siri, remind me to do this," or whatever. So those are just some of the things that you can do for that. And then get enough sleep and rest. So I found that do better when I'm fully rested. And for me, that means I have to go to bed a little bit earlier at night. And and I'm okay with that. My family knows to kind of let me sleep in on Saturdays because that's the only day that I can sleep in, and I need that fully rest and sleep to catch up. But that also means that I can rest a little bit during the day when I have those pockets of time. So one of the things I didn't mention earlier is that may look at me and say you look fine, you sound fine, you act fine. Which, as a lot of us, those who've experienced brain injury, we know that that doesn't mean that we don't have a brain injury. And a lot of folks treat me that way. They're like they don't understand. So what are some of my residual effects? Well, I have five main residual effects. The first one is I have a different voice I had before I was injured because when I pulled out my feeding tubes, I damaged my vocal cords. So I have no high octave range and I cannot scream. Now, my husband kind of likes that because that also means I cannot whine. So another thing I have is I have some right side weakness from the paralysis. The nerves I didn't get as much nerve function as I would like to have had. So my gait is not steady and I can't again participate in sports as I mentioned earlier. So my daughter played softball for our local high school team, and we'd go out and we throw the ball back and forth. And sometimes I would throw it at her, and it may go to the right, it may go to the left, or it may just land in front of her because I couldn't control it with my arm. And she kind of like, Mom, can't you get me the ball? And I'd be like, okay, Olivia, in a softball game, how many times does a batter hit a line drive to you? They hit it over to the right, they hit it over the left, may hit it right in front of you. I'm just preparing you for the game. Come on, let's go. So, it's how you look at things, because you may not be gonna be able to do some of the things I used to, and it's just looking at it in a different mindset. Another, of my residual effects is I have, sleep issues, and those sleep issues, I have to take medication every night. I can fall asleep for the most part okay, but staying asleep through the night, is difficult for me. I may wake up if there is a thunderstorm, if I hear a dog barking, but I will not, I just have a hard time falling or staying asleep. So I have to take medication to help me calm my brain down and help me be able to sleep through the night. Another residual effect is I have vertigo. So I am dizzy a lot, because I have to watch my diet, my stress level, and how much sleep I get. Because if those three aren't aligned, I start getting dizzy. And if I don't get that sleep, it triggers my vertigo, which triggers, again, it's like a domino effect. One thing affects the other. And as I'm sure maybe some of us experience, that one thing affects, comorbidity and other things in our lives that just things just go crazy. So that's one of the residuals that I have. And the last residual that I have is I have aphasia, and I have trouble coming up with words. I know in my mind what I want to say. It's kind of like, when you can finish your best friend's sentences or your husband's or whoever's sentences. You're like, oh, that word is on the top of my or on the tip of my tongue, but you can't recall it right away, because I have trouble retrieving it. Going through the Rolodex in my mind is just picking out that word that I'm looking for. And maybe you've noticed that throughout the presentation, that I may pause for a moment or I may stumble over a word. It's because I'm trying to search for that word, and then just speak it. So those are some of the things that I experienced that I have. I'm sure that there are probably a few more that might come up occasionally, but those are the five main ones that I live with on a daily basis.
Want to get involved? Whether you're interested in participating in our research remotely or in person, we'd love to hear from you. Check out the links in our program notes to learn how you can contribute to advancing brain injury research.